Uncle Howdy made his in-ring debut on last night's Raw. A top WWE star's contract is expiring, and the wrestling world has paid tribute to the late Sid Eudy. Stay tuned, it's time for the news. So in the main event of last night's episode of Raw, we finally saw the in-ring debut of one Uncle Howdy taking on the leader of American-made Chad Gable.
Yeah, so the match ended after the Wyatt Six entered to take out the Creeds following interference from them and Ivy Nile. Howdy avoided a Gable moonsault and then hit a picture-perfect Sister Abigail for the pinfall win, and then the show ended with Howdy doing the Bray Wyatt pose, and I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, really enjoyed the match. I'm actually really happy with how the Wyatt Six stuff is going. I'm glad that they've sort of scaled back on the supernatural stuff, because I think it makes it a little bit easier to book going forward. I think one thing that we saw with Bray, and one of the concerns that we had with the Wyatt Six, was that stuff can overshadow the in-ring action.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get the spooky stuff, which does make it difficult to book people in programs with those while protecting people. So I thought this was excellent. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I think the way they've been booking it with like the vignettes and everything, telling you about their backstories and why they're in this faction, hasn't leaned into the supernatural in terms of like, oh, when it gets in the ring and maybe if the opponent is getting more on the supernatural guy, it feels weird. They've done it in a way that feels like it feels grounded within what it is. And so to see Chad Gable get so much on Uncle Howdy didn't feel weird in that way either. Yeah. Like, you're like, oh, well, this supernatural guy could turn the lights out and everything could change. Like, it felt like a really good, solid wrestling match, and it made Uncle Howdy look tremendous in the ring, but it also made it feel like, oh, so it's not a one and done. If they are in the ring together, it's not like this guy has to beat them because he is a supernatural being, if you know what I mean. Like, it felt good to have that back and forth there.
How are you feeling about Chad Gable being the first feud? Because I've had my doubts about it, and I'm still a bit like, oh man, Chad Gable, he's like, it looked like he was properly on the up. He's got this new stable. Really, they should be winning lots and lots of stuff now, but they've been put straight into a feud where they're losing.
And I think it suited them really well, though. I think the losing side for Chad Gable has made perhaps the character that he's become a little bit better, if you know what I mean. Like, it's lent into the character really well, I feel like. And we'll get to that point where he does just become, ruthless.
I hope so.
Perk Gable and everything like that.
I'm trying to be more patient with WWE because you know that these are long-term storylines. These things do take weeks and months to progress. I'm trying to be patient. It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's completely WWE creatively now.
Yeah.
Anyway, main event of last night's Raw, Uncle Howdy's debut. It was lovely, a very touching tribute once again. In a web exclusive, Pete Dunne said that Butch nearly killed his career. You got to keep in mind this is a little bit in character, but it wouldn't surprise me if he feels this way in reality as well. He said,
I've been in this business long enough to know that you're gonna win matches, you're gonna lose matches. It's part of the job. But for Sheamus, that scumbag, to turn around and still call me Butch, to have a laugh that something like that nearly killed my career. This is all I've got, man. He knows that. All I've ever been and ever will be as a fighter. To be demoralized and reduced to that name, it shows what kind of person he really is. I don't deserve it. You all know that, but you know what I do deserve. After all the setbacks and backstabs, a shot at the Intercontinental title. I'm not taking this opportunity lightly. When I win that tournament and I have my hand lifted in the air, you can all call me something I approve of. Champion.
Nice, and he's on his way there as well. He won one of the matches last night in that Intercontinental Championship tournament. That was the second match of the night, defeating The Miz and Xavier Woods to qualify. Earlier in the night as well, we saw Jey Uso defeat Kofi Kingston and Karrion Kross to qualify. So those are the two in that IC Championship tournament so far that are qualifying. And the way that the tournament works was properly clarified on last night's Raw as well. So it's going to feature 4 triple threat matches, and then the winner of those 4 triple threat matches are going to compete in a fatal 4 4-way match to challenge Bron Breakker for the gold at a later date. I'm really, really happy with the winners of those as well.
Yeah.
Jey Uso, always spectacular, lovely stuff. Pete Dunne getting a little bit of a push there. He's on his way to being called champion, maybe. I think the problem that we've got with this is that I don't see Bron losing. This feels like a bit of a redundant tournament because it's like, okay, whoever wins, it's a great tournament. I'm really enjoying the matches and everything, but Bron's not dropping that title anytime soon, I don't think.
No, but I think, whoever he's in that match with, depending on who it is, I feel like it'll be such a good match that the person who loses still comes out looking $1 million at the same time.
They're not going to do the tournament and then have a squash at each
Exactly.
other. Yeah, so I'm totally cool with that. I think it's been really good so far, and that will continue as the weeks go on. A top WWE star's contract is expiring. This is a really interesting one. You may remember all the way back in May, Kevin Owens stated that his WWE contract was set to expire early in 2025. Initially, when I heard that, I was like, "Oh, that's ages. 2025." And now we're in September. It's like just a few months away. There's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not he was going to sign a contract extension, what he was going to do. Obviously, he's a very featured performer. He's got an upcoming world title match with Cody Rhodes this Saturday in Berlin, but he's given a new update on the situation when he was speaking to Sports Illustrated The Takedown that the only change in his contract status is now there's less time on his deal, and he's not signed a new deal with the company as of recording. So that's pretty interesting stuff. I don't see him going anywhere else. He's a very, very trusted wrestler within WWE. You look at the stuff that he's doing. Right, he's got a world title match this Saturday in Berlin that he's not winning, but still, he's in a world title match. On top of that, he was the man that was trusted to take on Stone Cold Steve Austin. In what may be, you never know, I think Austin will come back, but it may be Austin's last match ever. At WrestleMania, it was an amazing match. It completely surpassed expectations. I mean, we didn't even know we were getting a match heading into it, obviously, and he's the bollocks. You know what? He's a great heel. He's a great face. He is a tremendous wrestler who gives his all every time he steps foot in the ring, whether it's a promo or a wrestling match. He's the best, isn't he?
Absolutely. You've put it all perfectly.
Sorry,
there.
I've just said everything there.
I mean, that is the sort of thing that you think about when you think about and talk about Kevin Owens, and even just like through the pandemic, he was such a prominent feature with the Universal Championship scene as well, with top star Roman Reigns, and he really held his own in that. I mean, that feud went on and is probably continuously going on with the Bloodline at this point as well, and he's just shown that he can do it all, and he always steps up when it really, really matters as well. Yeah,
for sure. You know what? It's a weird one with Owens because when people are like, oh, who's your favourite wrestlers? And it's like, I don't know why Kevin Owens doesn't come to mind immediately, because I've never not been entertained by the stuff that Kevin Owens has done. Like, really, he is somebody that can be absolutely anywhere on the card, and you know you're getting a great match. And on top of that, I think I like him because I'm a sucker for a nice guy. And behind the scenes, he's just a proper family man. There's never any drama with Kevin Owens. He's just legit lovely, isn't he? So
he is.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but as of recording, he hasn't signed a new deal with the company. We're going to finish off with a bit of sad stuff, obviously following the news yesterday that Sid passed away at the age of 63. More tributes have been paid to him. We saw Damian Priest pay tribute to him as well. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley fending off an attack by the Judgment Day, the new Judgment Day, and then you could hear him shout, "We are the masters and rulers of the world." Xavier Woods was doing the fist bumping on the way to the ring, and he had the armband on as well. But there's a few more tributes being paid to Sid on Twitter. From when we recorded the video yesterday, the news had just broken, and so there were a few sort of notable people talking about it, but obviously since then more have come out. We kick off with Eric Bischoff, who said, "So very sad to hear of the passing of Sid Eudy. I have nothing but the fondest memories of working with Sid. My thoughts are with his family, friends and fans. Hashtag much respect, Sid."
Yes, Triple H also took to Twitter and said, "A two-time WWE champion, the master and ruler of the world. Few performers in the history of our business have had the look, intensity and ability to connect with the audience quite like Sid. My thoughts are with Sid's family, friends and fans."
And finally, Shawn Michaels, who obviously worked with Sid during his WWF run, saddened to learn of the passing of Sid Eudy, an unforgettable presence, and it can't be overstated how big of a role he played in creating the Heartbreak Kid. His work, legacy and influence will inspire our business for generations generations to come. Really, really nice tributes there. Loads more. If you just search Twitter, you'll see plenty of them. I thought it was really touching on Raw last night.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a lot of wrestlers there who would have grown up watching Sid.
Absolutely.
And to see those tributes being paid, I thought was really nice indeed. And if you haven't watched it yet, get on WWE's YouTube channel and check out the video that they've produced for the late, great Sid, the master and the ruler of the world. Thank you very, very much for watching. We will be back with more wrestling news in just a few hours' time. Take care. It's bloody pay-per-view week again, isn't it? Oh, goodness me. Let's do the usual plugs. Pitches tomorrow, predictions Thursday. You got live stream, you got what happened day, you got WTF, you got all the fun of the fair coming on the channel this week as well. And then next week, it's another pay-per-view because AEW are doing All Out, so we get to do it all again. It was going to be a busy 3-week period for us. So keep an eye on the channel and take care of yourselves. See you in a bit.